2019 to order, please. Roll call.
Arthur,
Here.
Tommy,
Yes.
Henry,
Here.
Gene,
Here.
Don,
Here.
Larry.
Here.
Would you please stand for pledge allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, before we approve tonight's agenda, I need to take off item 9B. The folks from Heartland Church emailed us and told us that they have changed their mind.
I don't think we pushed 9D to this meeting, did we?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And I'd like to also add 9G bonus. That's all I have.
I'd like to add one,
Yes, sir.
city council meeting, the time and the committee of the whole.
So you want to add it to the end, sir, or
Well, we can,
H?
yeah.
Time. Okay. Anybody else? That being said, acceptance of tonight's agenda, or approval rather.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tommy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur.
Yes.
And item number 5, approval city council minutes from September 3rd, 2019.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second that one.
Thank you. Roll call.
Henry,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Tommy.
Yes.
Moving down to item number 6, comments from citizens. If anybody would like to speak, please step to the podium, give us your name and address. Please keep your comments 3 minutes or less.
All right,
Thank you.
Rhonda Dowdna, 462 Posa Lane. Just come to talk about Halloween. It was great. It rocked. It was cold, but we had a great afternoon. We guesstimated, and I think I'm low, about 1,200 kids probably showed with their families. I think it's over that. I had, between the benches and the donations to the city of Candy, I had $4,532, and I think I'm low on that too. I think it was over that. So had a great turnout, had wonderful help this year. It just flowed together, went well. I want to personally thank Gene because I believe 800 somewhere in there, a hot chocolate that he actually poured and gave out, and it was well needed. That was a good thing for McDonald's. But we just really had a great time. I'm going to post more stuff tonight, more of the kids at the picture booth and stuff like that tonight. I'm going to leave a little early here and get that finished up. But I just can't thank everybody for the stops. They were so unique this year. And everybody that worked it threw money into, I don't think people realize the council and the mayor that set up here really put the money towards this event, the employees and such. The citizens help out in many ways, but if it wasn't for you guys sitting right in front of me, I couldn't do this between the help and the cash to throw towards it. So I thank you. I'm wore out, as you can tell from the voice, but it was fun. I can't wait till next year. We're going to do a little bit bigger, better, add a few things, but we missed you, Henry, big time.
Well,
but
couldn't make it.
Well, by gosh, hopefully we get you back up there the next one. And I know you had commitments, Tommy, and I appreciate it and letting me know. But we did a really good job this year, and it was for the kids, and I just loved it. A first place went to for the benches was the Penalto family, and the second one was the fire department. And the third one was a newbie that's out of Springdale, which was Bright Haven Learning Center. And they put on like a little mermaid, it was just colorful and they were so active with the kids. It just went really great. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope I have you back next year. And Miss Rhonda, everybody loved the witch. She went through the park. It was great. And I'm going to tell a quick little story and then I'm going to leave you with this. And the reason why is because I want you to realize our mayor's in the middle of budgeting right now. He's working numbers and he's working it all. And he's always working it. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the stuff we got going on now. And we really have grown since he's become our mayor. But I'm in there and I've got our gazebo all done up and I've got 8 buckets lined up because it's the grand finale. I want the kids to come through and take a piece out of each bucket. And so he's like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's too many buckets. Okay, we're going to run out of candy. He's budgeting. His mind is just going, blah! And where's Waldo? So look for him in these pictures. They were great. So anyway, he's just freaking out on me. So I thought, okay, he walks away, he leaves. I added another one. I thought there's going to be 9 now. He's going to have to deal with 9 buckets. So I go back up there and he's there and he's ready. And Arthur's a part of it. They work that bench like you wouldn't believe in that gazebo. And I go, ha, 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 I added another bucket to you. And then I look over and he's laughing and I'm realizing, there's 3 buckets missing. And he's moved them down to the bottom of the floor because he's budgeting. But he tells me, I said, just let the kids walk through here and grab a piece. Oh, they'll do grand bowls and blah, 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 blah. He can manage a city and do quite fine, but he couldn't tell little children they could only have 1 piece of candy out of that bucket. So I thank you, Mayor, for being so, I don't know, conservative in that area. That's what we need in a city.
Candy management.
Right. But this is my domain. I give the candy. So, but I just want to tell you guys, he's still managing and budgeting. So I can't wait to see what your budget looks like. So again, thank you guys. Appreciate all the help. And if you have any pictures, throw it my way. Text me, send them on TextWise. I'd like to put them out because I'm going to do it tonight and tomorrow. All right. Thank you.
Anybody
If
else?
it wouldn't been for you, Rhonda, it wouldn't have happened.
Well, I can do without all the help I got. Thank you, though.
Yes,
Good
sir.
evening. I'm Carl Gales. Just come with a little report of good news to the town and to the county. We finally got the radio committee out of radio committee on purchase of radios for countywide and going to quorum court. We have concluded that we will purchase all radios with the discretion that you can select the kind that you actually want to have in your department, which is a great compromise. We've been about a year. There's been a lot of committee meetings, a lot of teams working, your fire departments, your police departments. So this is going to put the entire county in one network in unison. So this is a major achievement for us, and it's really an achievement for every town in the county. Otherwise, we're in the budgets. We also are having a lot of budget restraints, but like everything else, taxes and budgets will go on. So that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Moving on down, item number 7, approval by city council members to waive the 3 reading rule for all ordinances on the agenda.
Make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call.
Gene,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Tommy, Henry. Henry.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I was reading here. Not paying attention.
Item 8, old business. There is none. Moving it on down to item number 9A. This is approval of an ordinance rezoning property located on Millsap Road. Mr. Ivan.
City of Tinetown, Washington County, Arkansas, an ordinance rezoning property located on Millsap Road, parcel number 830-3797, 37979-003, City of Tinetown, Arkansas, from ag agriculture to RE estate single family.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
I
Second.
second it.
I heard Mr. Doudna. Discussion?
It's all good with planning board?
Yes, it was unanimously approved.
No problem.
Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Don,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Tommy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Jean.
Yes.
Item 9C, approval of a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a per capita jail fee agreement with Washington County. Council, this is the jail fee agreement that we discussed at the COW. Basically, what we've done, or what you're doing, is allowing us to do a per capita instead of a per person jail fee or per day jail fee at the county. Memory serves me right, it's somewhere around $10,000 for the city of Tawnytown.
Oh, that's somewhere in here.
Mhm. And will be looked at on a yearly basis by the county. I mean, they're basing it right now off of their shortfalls. So depending on the funds that are collected each year, one of the things I did negotiate with the judge was moving up the timeline on this, I believe, to October of this coming year, for them to give us the numbers that they're going to require for the upcoming year. So unless you have any other questions, we accept a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second that.
Thank you. Discussion?
You pretty well discussed this back and forth, and I think you're pretty much the one that brought all this about, and I think you did a heck of a job, Paul, so that's all I got to say about that.
Well, everybody got to pay, you know. That's all right.
Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Larry,
Yes.
Tommy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Arthur.
Yes.
Moving down to item number 9D, approval of a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement for a solar system for Simply Solar. Council, we did bring this forward to discussions at the COW. Told you guys to look everything over on it. Ms. Steele is here again this evening. If she'd like to step to the podium. Basically what she's done for you again, or once again, is giving you a breakdown of the numbers and the cost to doing this. There's actually 3 different proposals, if you will. You can opt to choose all of it, one of it, 2 of it, or none of it. She also comes bearing bad news, if you will. She sent me an email today that they, I guess, are going to go ahead and up the rates 8.8%, I believe
sir.
is what the email that she sent me said for this coming year for our electric utilities coming up. I think her estimates, when we looked at it last, were an increased estimate of like 6%, I think. She can correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, but we brought it forward to you at council for discussion or adoption, whichever you guys choose to do. Okay. Do you have any questions at all, Ms. Steele? Quiet, quiet, quiet. Nobody?
Well, I'm gonna ask a question, because I missed the committee as a whole meeting. I'll just have to talk louder than on the microphone. What is the purchase without city? Oh, okay. I see what it is now. What's the test system?
What we had discussed with Ms. Steele back in the summer was to not necessarily to try to persuade anybody on this council, but what I asked her to do is possibly put me something on the fire department over there that, we really didn't know what the true numbers were going to be as far as utility cost of the fire department because we had converted everything over to LED lighting. So I asked her to, come up with a little solar system, if you will, that we could apply to the fire station, kind of get some numbers, if you will, going to see exactly what kind of cost savings that we would generate on that bill alone. So I think what she did was put a system together that would basically do a third of the power for that building.
That's
or
correct,
somewhere close to
32%.
and then we could come back to you guys and show you, hey, here was the true cost savings without actually spending, 100, I think at the time it was like 200 some thousand, but Ms. Steele has since come back to us and sharpened her pencil and found some more monies available to lower the cost. Because I think initially this cost to do everything was 200 and some.
Around 210.
Right. So she's come back forward in front of you guys. Matter of fact, I think we told you back early on in the year that we would revisit this in October and November, which we obviously have now. So anyway, what she's done is broken it down even further to where if you just want to run a test deal to see how the numbers are going, or if you want to run a full deal on the fire station, or if you want to run just the city hall, then she's broken it down that way. Or if you want to run both of them, then you have the total price. Hope I was clear as mud, Mr. Granada.
Well, I know I'm rubbing my head because I missed the meeting the other night. I do remember us talking about it previously, and I'm going to kind of jump the gun a little bit. I remember saying something back when we visited where in February, March, April, whenever it was. And we're here now. I remembered saying something wait towards the end of the year. It's of interest to do something like this, but I also said that we need to check where we're at financially towards the end of the year to see if we're running good, if we got extra monies and to apply to this, and we're it's well within our means financially for our income for the year. You may have visited that last meeting and I missed it. So
No, sir, but
I assume, I hope the numbers were good, but I don't know. For our 2019 budget, where we're at financially for the year. That's for me. That ain't for the rest of them. That's just for me. I'm just asking.
and in anticipation of you asking that question, I did have Mr. Penalto pull our numbers today. Your general fund currently, as of today's numbers, is sitting with 904,000 positive from our budget. Our current water and sewer is I think 1.9 million above revenue versus expenditures. Your street is negative 10,000. If that helps you, sir.
Okay. So if I understand this right, you're at 183,000 for everything?
That is correct.
All in number 183,675. If you break it down to just the solar system on the fire station, it was going to be 61, I think. Is that right? 61,065 or 58,000, excuse me, 531. And if you just do the council or the city hall building is 125,324. And once again, correct me if I'm wrong, Your estimated payoff, which did not include the 2% increase that the power companies announced 2 days ago, would be a payoff in 14 years based on your previous numbers payoff.
Correct. 13.6 years.
With a warranty on this product to be 30 years.
Yes, sir.
And I want to think she did a ballpark estimate based on the previous numbers that over a 30-year lifespan was going to be somewhere 500,000
$537,149.
over a 30-year time period.
Now,
That's based on the previous amortization, not
Right.
accounting for the
So
rate
it'd obviously
increase.
be more than that
Correct.
over a 30-year life.
okay, you said these are for like 30 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If this keeps going, you all will be independently wealthy in like 10 years and you'll be out of business. But is this a company guarantee? This is not something that your company is backing it for 30 years. It's a cut.
It's a
It's-
manufacturer's
okay.
warranty.
Okay.
Yes, and they have agreements with solar companies all around the country.
Yeah, the warranty would be on the panels, but not on the labor.
The warranty is on the labor through Simple Solar for 10 years.
Okay. So after 10 years, if something goes awry, then the cost to change out the panels would be on us, but the panels would be warranted.
That is correct.
Just have one more question. Okay, let's say we put everything, like even the fire department right now, but I don't foresee that fire department being in use in 30 years, but the panels,
They could be moved.
okay.
They're mounted with 4 bolts.
Okay.
Very easy to move. Gene and I had that discussion after the last meeting.
Okay.
He has some ideas as well.
Mr. Granata, I heard a grunt from you on the end.
Well, my wheels are really grinding. Wondering if, if we should bust this up in 2, 3 different ways. To do it, not do it, do the city hall. Or do the fire department separate, or we spread it out and do one now and maybe one next year, or what or not. I mean, I've just got 3 or 4 things in my head and I don't know which way to go right now. I'm just there. I'm thinking, I've been an advocate of where we spend our money and how we spend our money. We've got a lot of stuff going. We got a lot of stuff we need to do. If you said we got looks like we're on the positive side of 900,000 on our revenue on the general fund for this year, then that eases my mind a little bit. Just now I'm thinking where we ought to apply some of the monies towards. I know everyone's pulling and grabbing from help to fire trucks and anything we can get going for the city. I don't think the solar panels is it'll eventually pay for itself. I tell you what I would do. I just for me, I believe I would make a motion to do City Hall.
So that's your motion, sir?
I'll make a motion to give you the permission to negotiate a deal for City Hall. Not that the fire department doesn't need it, but I think we ought to walk before we run, see where we're going to go with it and see what it is. In a year's time, we'll say, man, we should have done it all, or we'll jump on the other one next year or something like that. If things go good and we got plenty of money, and you got not plenty of money, but money to spread around. Of course, I know we got other venues to spend money on, and I think this will eventually, it's supposed to pay off, and it's probably a pretty good deal, all in all. For a little town that's got all the revenue problems we got, I mean, I'm sure we could spend 10 or 20 million pretty easy if we had it just in the hopper that we need to go spend. So, because we got a little extra, we just, proceed with caution, but I don't know. I know. I said it earlier, if we got extra money left over, it would be something interesting. So with that said, I'd make a motion to do City Hall.
Have a
Well,
motion on the floor.
And that's just my motion and someone could do it. We could discuss it, turn it down, whatever you want to, that's fine. Or not do any of it. I don't, that's my deal right there.
Well, for this amount of money, should this not go through a competitive bid deal?
Mr. Ackman, that ball's in your court.
As a city of the second class, which we still are at this, as a city of the second class, which we still are at this point, we only competitive bid for capital projects. So if you have a road to build, a water tower to build, a solar panel is something a little different. It's an item of personal property that you affix to either a building or to some type of structure out in the field. It's not quite the same. I think what you did on this particular process, and I know you all have met at CALS about this, is solicit, accepted statements of qualifications from vendors that provide the service. And this is the one that's before you. So there's not if you're in a city of a first class and the item's over $20,000, you're going to buy a car or vehicle, tractor or whatever, you'd be required to competitive bid that, but not in a city of the second class.
Thank you. I didn't know if there was a.
No, it's a good question. It's not
Well,
an easy line.
To save the mayor's behind and anybody else's, should it be at competitive bidding anyway? Should something say that, of course, then, I'm not.
If I can interrupt just a little bit, we have a motion. Do I have a second? And then I'll offer discussion, just so I can get that out of the way.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Granata.
Well, I'm just wondering if it does need to be, put it out for a competitive bid, so we're covered on that in case it does. I know we're asking you for your opinion. Mr.
Right. You could always, even though you don't have to, I know when we buy a vehicle, I know we go through, for example, and get pricing. When we talk about competitive bid, we're talking about following the bidding statutes, which have some hoops to jump through. So you all can decide on whether to do that. Obviously, if you do, it gives you some assurance either that you A, have the best price and best service, and B, that you have checked that box. But that'd be something that you as a council could decide on whether you wanted to do.
Any further discussion?
Well,
May I add to the comments? Is that appropriate?
One
Okay.
second, please.
I know last time we got a piece of paper showing everything the city needs to do: roads, streets, water, sewer. 32 point something million. That's a lot of money. To me, this is probably a good deal. I don't know. But that's still another $100,000 right there. No, just like I told James, we was talking the other day. Minoto down here, they had that estimate just on the fixing the drainage was over $200,000 here a few years ago. It's probably $250,000 now. But don't know. I don't know if is this a necessity Whether it is or not, I don't think it is, but Lord of mercy. Carry on.
Anybody else?
Yeah, but what bothers me about spending money, it's something that really, it might save you money. You're not going to make any money at it, but you're going to save some money. That's great. But our roads are in pitiful shape for the traffic, the people that's moved in here. Now they're going to build a school, which is fine. Fletcher's nothing being done to it. And Barrington can't handle all this. There's subdivision in here. There's no opening. There's no place for people to go. We need to concentrate on infrastructure and get these roads fixed up or widened out or new roads, whatever we need to be done. That's all I got to say. But I just hate to see the congestion that's going to be on Barrington and 412. If anybody's noticed, traffic is greatly increased on it. On Barrington, and 412 both, 112. So I don't know, whatever they want to do.
Anybody else? Ms. Steele.
Yes, I would like to add the spreadsheet that I sent. If you purchase the fire department, or look at the fire department without looking at the city hall bill, your pre-solar electric bill right now is running $31.58 based on the bills that your accounting department went over with me. So this is a one-time purchase. After that, your post-solar electric bill will be $325 on the fire station. That starts day one. On the city hall, $6,400 is what your current bills are. After the solar system, they'll be $536. So the savings of those two are $10,012. So that's money that can go back into the operational fund.
That's a year.
That's annual, yes. And that's based on the previous rates. So budgeting in another $3,000 a year, roughly, for starting January 1st of 2020 would be the continued budget. So you're going to continue to pay what you're paying now plus some, whereas we could get it down to where you're only paying $861 a year by purchasing the solar system for both buildings.
So currently with your numbers, we're paying $9,500 and some change per year. With those same figures, it looks like we'd be paying $850, give or take a year.
Correct.
Which what we were saying earlier is the electrical companies have basically approved, instead of a 6% raise, they're going to have an 8.8% raise this coming year. Any other discussion? So I'm going to make sure I have it correctly. The motion on the table is to approve City Hall. Is that correct, Mr. Granada?
Yes.
Okay.
Resolution to approve negotiated deal for City Hall.
Okay. Roll call.
Arthur,
Abstain.
Tommy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes,
Jean,
let's spend it.
No,
Dawn,
I say yes.
Larry,
Yes.
City Hall only passes.
4-1. Pass. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
9E. Moving on down, this is approval of a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into agreement with 2-ton water for purchase of our water. Council, we have had the water contract from Two Ton sent over to us. Obviously, we're getting very, very close to turning the switch on for the water system. So our next mode of operation in this game is to do or enter into a contract with Two Ton. I have had Mr. Eichmann look over the contracts. Unfortunately, as far as Mr. Eichmann being able to negotiate this contract with Two Ton, to my knowledge, there was no negotiations at all. It's more or less a take it or leave it proposition with Two Ton on their contract. But there's not really been any changes to my knowledge from when we spoke with them 2 years ago. Mr. Clark, feel free to chime in at any time if there is something I'm missing. The rate structure is still the same as when we discussed with them 2 years ago. The only difference from what we do with Springdale, and this is nothing new to us, Two Ton charges $1.50 per water hookup versus Springdale's rate charge is per 1,000 gallons. We do have a significant rate drop on our gallons charge, but there would be $1.50 per hookup charge that is inside of their contract. This is a 30-year contract. Mr. Clark, do you remember if there was any rate increases associated with inside this contract, or they have to give notification?
Correct. Yeah, the rate increases are not addressed in the contract. They would be at the
Voted
time.
on by their board?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Eichmann, would you like to care to add?
Yeah. Compared to your Springdale contract that you have right now, this agreement is a lot more flexible, a lot more advantageous for the city. For one thing, you have a better locked-in rate. For another, you have a more volume. You had hard caps with penalties, some pretty severe penalties that were built into the contract with Springdale, and this certainly relieves it. I did, with James and the mayor, bring up 3 changes. I think they were. They weren't. They weren't necessarily big problems, but they were wording changes that I would have addressed. And James forwarded those on to contacted Two Ton, who responded back saying they don't negotiate their contract. So that so it's being presented as a take it and leave it. On one of them had to do with who's responsible for maintenance of the master valve, and they clarified that in an email that's their responsibility. But I thought the termination section was somewhat strangely worded, but they have said that all government entities that are attached on their system have this very same contract. So I would have changed. I would have recommended my changes, but they don't seem too interested in doing that. But on the whole, I have to say that the contract is a much more advantageous contract for the city of Tinytown than the existing one you have with City of Springdale. Evan.
To make a motion to approve the resolution for you to enter the contract with Two Ton Loop, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Second that.
Discussion? Roll call.
Tommy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur.
Yes.
Moving on down, 9F, approval of 2020 budget. Council. We've been issuing you our budget over the past several meetings. And pretty much we've finalized what we feel like should be the 2020 budget that is attached to your packet this evening. To Mr. Piazza's point about streets, one of the things that you see inside of the budget is a general fund transfer to our general fund budget of $1.5 million to put in Fletcher Road extension. That is merely an estimate because we've not put this out to bid. So it's just what it is. We guessed at the number as far as what we think it will take to build it. Obviously, we haven't spoke with the Springdale school system either about their portion of the street that needs to be fixed for them to add to the new school, nor any stoplights that will be installed on Barrington and Fletcher Avenue as well. Also included in this with the 2020 budget is the water, sewer, and street. We are also adding funds from our savings account, if you will, to go ahead and extend our water lines, or not extend, but upgrade all of our water lines on Highway 412 to make sure they all match up in size. As the council will recall, we already did the expansion on the east side of Tawnytown several years ago and brought those lines up to adequate standards. And then we also have the new lines that are west of Tawnytown. So basically, we're missing the center of Tawnytown, which is kind of where our growth is occurring. So we're asking to proceed forward with that and to take money out of our savings accounts to do those projects. Now, that's not to say that we're not going to continue looking for funding outside of our own resources. We're still going to continue to apply for grants and assistance with any of these projects. We're just trying to include it into this budget this next year so we can start to work on it and start applying the funding to some of these projects to get them up and rolling. Just like Mr. Piazza mentioned, our roads ain't getting any better and the population ain't getting no smaller. And we have people getting stuck all over the place. And, the only way we can do it is to continually try to add to our infrastructure here in town and hopefully get assistance from the state by widening Highway 112. We think will help a bunch if we can get them off dead center to start doing that. So any questions at all?
Are you asking for us to vote for an approval tonight?
I am, sir.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second discussion. Going once. Going twice. Roll call.
Tommy,
No.
Arthur,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on down to item H, or excuse me, G, sorry, jumped ahead. Council added this to the back of your packet. We, for the past 4 years, I can truly say that the asset that we have in our city that I'm the most proud of is the people that work here. They have the majority, I will say, have stuck through us through thick and thin. With every dispute, with every argument, with everything that we've asked them to do, with coming up here on a very cold Halloween to set things out in the park and then showing up the next day and all hands on deck, I think, trying to clean up the park. Do I hear from them every now and then about, am I going to get a pay raise, boss? Yes, that's just part of the job. One of the things that we've not done for our employees that I think would mean a lot to me, and I absolutely know it would mean a lot to them, and I haven't discussed this at all with any of them, with the exception of Pat Penalto. But what I'm suggesting this body do And that's once again, Mr. Granada, I wasn't trying to single you out with having the budgets here tonight or what we've spent. But I would like to give our full-time employees a Christmas bonus at the 1st of December. And I'm not asking for much, or I don't feel like I'm really asking for enough for what they do for me. What I told Pat to do was base it on a $1,000 deal. Obviously, they have to hold out taxes for those people that have been here for at least a year. And for the ones that haven't been here for a year, take that 1,000, divide it by 12, and however many months they've been here, give them a bonus as well based on the time that they've been here. So that way it's fair and equitable to all the employees. Total cost to the city to do this is going to be $20,199.60. I could have slapped Pat because I told him if you would get this at $19,900, I wouldn't have to ask the council, even though I would anyway. But I'm asking for you guys to approve giving the city employees a Christmas bonus this year, and not that you're going to have to do it every year. I'm just asking for this year to play Santa Claus a little bit.
I'll make a motion to accept the 2019 budget Christmas bonus for the Tonytown employees.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Roll call.
Tommy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur.
Yes.
I thank each and every one of y'all very much. Thank you. Moving down, item number H, Mr. Penzo, this has your name on it.
Okay. Well, when we decided to change the city council meeting and the committee of the whole meeting to 7:00, then I said something about it when the time changes. They wouldn't go back to instead of 7:00, 6:00, because you'd been, right now by 5:30, it's dark. But a lot of people work out in the dark, but it's whatever everybody wants to do. If you want to change it to 6:00 or leave it at 7:00, that's fine. And then next year, if we do change it now, next year when the time changes again, we can go back to 7:00. I don't think that's a problem, but Mr. Attorney is sitting over there. He can
Did
give
we,
his opinion on it.
did we not, when we did this last time, did we change do y'all remember if we amended the ordinance to change the time? I'm having a memory back to earlier in the year.
I think we did.
Yeah,
I think we did.
So in order to do that, we would need to tweak the ordinance a little bit, that's possible to do.
Okay.
Mr. Penzo, what you're saying is that, I'm gonna help read between the lines of what I think. With this daylight savings time deal going on, you're saying, well, the daylight savings time is off. Move the meetings to 6:00, and whenever it is engaged again back in the spring, we'll go back to 7:00 because we have an extra hour of daylight on the evening time. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's your motion.
I could probably handle
Mhm.
that.
So we got a motion for Mr. Penzo in that regard and a second for Mr.
Well, I fought
Granada.
For 7:00, I'll second it.
Thought so. Discussion.
So what is
Change the meetings.
when daylight savings?
March the 8th. I already have looked that up.
When daylight
Go back
savings
to
occurs,
seven.
you go back
I've
to
already-
7.
It already got me shook up now because it's getting dark too quick on me. I'm used to that hour in the evening time, but March the 8th, I think next year is when it goes back to daylight savings time. I believe. Don't quote me, but I think,
Any other discussion?
no, Google it and find out.
Going once, twice. Roll call, please.
Tommy,
Yes.
Henry.
Yeah.
Gene,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Larry,
No.
Arthur.
Yes.
So starting next month is 6:00?
Gotta go to 7.
I'm assuming so.
Okay.
All right, moving on down. Comments from Alderman. Mr. Artermoney.
I'm gonna be a deaf mute down here and just sit.
Mr. Piazza.
I don't have anything much. Thank you.
Mr. Penzo.
Well, I want to say something about the candy giveaway for all the kids and everything. If it wouldn't been for that lady out there, I know there's a lot of people pitched in and helped, but she's the one who took the bull by the horns and got it done and got a lot of candy donated and probably pumpkins and whatever. So I say my hat's off to you, Rhonda.
Thank you for your help.
I'm done.
Okay. Mr. Doudna.
Well, and just kind of adding to that, I do appreciate what she does. But I'd like to thank everybody in the city that participated and the community for coming out. I do believe it was a very good event. And other than that, that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Kind of sounded like he was sucking up a little bit to his wife.
Get it where you can.
Mr. Granada. Mr. Granada.
Only got one for you.
Yes, sir.
Minutes that's taken for the city council meeting is to highlight the highlights of the drama or whatever else that you had, and for people to, that are hunting important things that happened in the previous meetings, and, we're required by the ordinance to have the minutes and all that good stuff. And Rhonda, I think you're doing a wonderful job. I do have to throw one thing in there, our recorder treasurer, Miss Rhonda. But I got to say something to her for a thing that she put in the minutes that is very important, and it is logged in there, and it'll be there for now on for eternity. It was in the back of the page of the notation where it says that Tommy Granada said it was the mayor's fault. They were the first team out in the tournament, in the Mochi tournament, but we did get a tournament. Thank you. That's good. I'm glad that's etched in stone, and that's very good. That's it, sir.
I'm
Carry
trying to
on.
be a little bit more detailed oriented.
You just never know some nights, Mr. McCartney.
Definitely want to say a big thank you to Rhonda for everything that she did on the event, but it's not just her. I know her husband put in a lot of time with her, and we appreciate that family very much and everything that you do. Thank you.
All right, moving on down. Comments from myself. First and foremost, the Halloween deal was exceptional. It truly takes a village, is all I can tell you. I visited with Miss Doudna about 5 or 6 days before the event, and both of us was sitting there going, "Oh crap, we don't have enough candy. Oh crap, we don't have enough candy." And I can honestly tell you that we were inundated with business owners the last 2 days before Halloween. The businesses that contributed to this event, man, thank you. The kids that come out and helped. I mean, you talk about Mrs. Doudna, which I can't say enough about, love her to death, but her son was right there beside her, stuck to the park, and nothing is ever mentioned about Elliot. And, just like my Allison standing there handing out candy and not going out trick-or-treating herself. So, hats off to the entire community, because this truly is a community event. We see family members that you haven't seen in a long time that come just for the Halloween deal, that bring their pets out even to walk through. So I do appreciate everybody's efforts that put into it, and our city employees were absolutely fabulous, as always. I never can say enough about them. Christmas time, we're having our annual Christmas party again, so please invite your spouses and your family to come. Get with Renee. We set it up to have the same catering company do the same catering deal right inside the city hall here. I think it's on the 23rd, I believe. So come on out. If you want to bring a side dish, by all means, please do so, but bring your family. We want to see them, because it's a kind of a nice event, and we kind of let the employees go a little bit early after that event's over with. We try to start around 11 o'clock, so everybody's welcome to come. So come on out. We'd love to have you.
Do you have a date?
I think I said the 23rd.
23rd. Okay.
So you might get with Renee just to make sure I'm not fibbing on it, and I'll re-announce it again in December. With that being said, also, Mr. Renee and myself went down to Little Rock this last week. We did have some good news, I guess. We're in the top 5 for the running for a fun park grant. So Renee feverishly put together packets for me and schooled me all the way down to Little Rock on what I needed to say in front of these cats. It ended up being a 5-person board along with some people from the Grant Foundation that was down there clicking through the slides for the city of Tawnytown. I think she did a very, very good job of representing our needs for what our intentions are to do with the tennis court. This is a $50,000 grant. It's not a matching grant, so we can spend the full $50,000. I think it ends up after we pay the $5,000 fee for it, we end up with $45,000 to put towards the tennis court. So Renee also took it a step further, contacted Garber Engineering Firm and to lay out a new tennis court. Now, it would not be a double tennis court. It would be a single tennis court to do the concrete, and the painting of the concrete is going to be right at $48,000 was the estimate. So that's not no fencing, that's not no lighting or no basketball courts or anything like that. That just replaces the concrete and paints it. So if you want to do more than that, we'll discuss it further depending on whether or not we get the grant. We should be hearing something. I think they told us somewhere around the 16th of this month to find out whether or not we're awarded it. I want to think Washington County was also down there in the running as well for one of their parks. So we'll see how it shakes out and who they award the monies to. So wish us luck. It's like 18 months. Does that sound right, Carl? Somewhere around there. I think. I don't know that to be true. You'd have to ask Renee, but
You got to get started.
yeah. So obviously we want to jump on it pretty quick, and I think we demonstrated the need for the tennis court, something to happen to get it revamped. So also we're having continued discussions with USPS. Scheduling right now is for us to meet in the next couple of weeks again with them. I don't know where it's going to end up or where it's going, but we continue to press, trying to do something to get Tawnytown its own zip code, or at least our name added to the current zip code. So we'll keep you abreast of that situation as well, and hopefully we can get some relief on it. I have had discussions with Mr. Eichmann 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night about this in conjunction with Shelby Johnson down at the state about tax issues and everything else. And we continue to ring their phones and call off call everybody up that we can possibly call on this situation that we have. So we haven't given up yet, and we're not going to give up until they tell us we have to give up. So that's pretty much all I have for tonight. Turn it to our city attorney.
At the last meeting with the post office, the mayor brought a congressional record that he had annotated and was putting it to the folks there to answer some difficult questions. That's a really tough issue, and I will say that Mayor Colvin and Elm Springs Mayor Johnson Mayor really came loaded to bear and have gotten farther with this than I thought was possible. So hopefully some relief to the for the post office woes and delivery woes can happen. But other than that, I don't have anything to add, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
All in favor, say aye. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate you.